How's it going, everybody? My name is George Khalife. This is a very quick video. I'm going to share with you 5 lessons I've learned from successful startups. All right, where did this come from? I'm very lucky and fortunate enough that at work I get to attend all these conferences, and some of you know that from my Snapchats. So I go to a lot of these conferences, seminars, events where startups are pitching, they're doing investor presentations, they're trying to connect with VCs, PE firms, they're trying to raise that Series A, that Series B, even a seed round, and so they have to pitch what their company's about, what the value is, what problem it solves, all that stuff, and simplify it to the average investor, capture their attention. Sometimes, usually it's only 5 minutes for that grand prize of $50,000, which they win at the end. So very high pressure situations. I'm actually in Michigan right now in my hotel room. I just came back from an event. It's a growth capital symposium. Same thing, connecting. It's a venue connecting investors to startups. And so over time, and after attending all these conferences, I've realized certain patterns that successful startups portray when either pitching or just when presenting or when talking to them. They have successful traits. And actually in the first panel today in the event, they sort of brought up these exact 5 lessons that I want to share with you. And I think this will be of tremendous value, especially to my friends who I know are watching this, have their own business or have an idea that they want to start putting down on paper and executing. All right, here we go. Let's get into this very quick. First lesson, your value proposition. You have to make this extremely clear, very concise, and you have to be able to articulate this in a few sentences. What do I mean by the value prop? The value prop is really what your idea or product or company or business solves. All right, is there an actual problem that you're solving? Does this bring value to the end user or end client? And is the end user or end client willing to pay for it? So the monetization piece. Think very clearly about that value prop and really make sure to explain it. If you can't simplify it enough to explain it to someone who's not in the industry that you're in or is very techy or understands the development work, it's going to be very tough to sell your idea or your company to investors. And at the end of the day, they're the ones who are going to provide that capital for you to take your idea from pre-stage to commercialization, and then I guess to that growth phase. So just keep that in mind. Second is, okay, well, you have your value prop. Can the team actually execute the value proposition? A lot of the times, the founders are these software developers and who don't really have management experience, who don't have a finance background, and so get caught in that wave because they're trying to do it all. They're trying to be everybody, and it doesn't work. You and I both know that to build a great company revolves around building a great team. And so if you're a great software developer, great. You can still be a co-founder / chief data officer, chief information officer, and sort of give up that role of CEO to someone who has that business background, who can sell your company, negotiate contracts, who understands the finances, can understand that revenue model, the monetization piece, present your company, and really attract that investor pool and that user base. And also recruiting afterwards. I hear it all the time. Startups are looking for funding to hire sales representatives, and so recruiting is going to be a big arm, managing teams, being a leader. And so if that's just not your bread and butter, focus on your strengths and then find someone to actually sort of fill your gaps or complement your weaknesses. Third is the environment. It's much easier than it sounds, but the last thing you want to be is the blockbuster that gets eaten up by the Netflix, right? What you want to constantly do is also listen to your clients, listen to your users, even before your prototype or your beta version comes out. Seek feedback. Ask your close friends about the idea. Ask them about the name. Ask them about the logo, the design. What do they think about the product? Could it sell? And 9 times out of 10, your close friends are actually going to be the ones who are going to be the most honest with you. But seek out that feedback. Constantly scan the environment. See what's changing around you. Observe diligently your competitors. See what they're doing, and then don't be afraid to pivot. Make that strategic pivot or change early on if you have to. It's much less costly to do it in the beginning than afterwards. All right. Fourth, seek out mentorship. This could be in the form of an advisor or a coach, or even if you're trying to grow your board, have someone on the seat who has that experience that you're looking for, whether it's an entrepreneur or an iBanker, whatever that case is, whatever you're trying to look for. Pair up with someone who has that experience and can provide that direction and that just bouncing off of ideas. Great venues are obviously incubators and accelerators. In Canada, we have the DMZ, which is Ryerson's sort of incubator accelerator. I think it's Canada's one of the top tech incubators, accelerators. Very well known in the tech scene. Sorry, I keep stuttering. But one of the lessons here, and they said this actually in the event today, they said, don't get so caught up in this space. So when you're looking at incubators, don't get so caught up in the space or the glamour of, oh, they're going to give me a private office and I can work out of there, and bought in by the programming. Okay, so the program that the incubator or the accelerator can offer you. So the support services, the coaching, connecting you with investors, that added mentorship, that real substance. That's what you should look for. The space and I guess the atmosphere. That's just the cherry on top, but it's not the meat. All right, last lesson. All right, kill the idea yourself before someone else does it for you. What do I mean by that? Constantly destroy your idea of managing and moderating your risk. And if you can't do it personally, and one of the panelists today said, don't get too emotionally attached to your idea. But if you are, and it's obviously harder said than done because it's your baby, and you want to, you see all the potential in it, and it's always $1 billion market cap, or $1 billion market or projection. It's always amplified. You're obviously very optimistic. You want this to work. Granted, if you can't do it, find the naysayers, find that cynic, that pessimist. We all know them. Go to them with the idea and let them bash it, let them destroy it. This way you can really, from a genuine perspective, see the gaps and weaknesses that your idea may have, and you fix it very quickly before you're too deep to pivot or to make that change. Okay, guys, so 5 lessons. I'll just recap really quickly. Number 1, value prop. Number 2, your team has to be able to execute and pair up with people who have different strengths than you do. And it's always good to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. CEOs will always tell you that. 3, scan the environment constantly and don't be afraid to make strategic pivots or changes. 4, seek out mentors, advisors, coaches, and go to these incubators and accelerators once you're ready. They offer great programming, but don't get too caught up in the space. 5, kill the idea. Be cynical. Don't be afraid to step back. Don't get too emotional, and really question some of the weaknesses and fix them early on so that you'll end up with a great masterpiece. I wish you all the best. To all the entrepreneurs, don't give up on your dreams. I'm telling you, it's always worth it. If anything, it provides a great lesson for you. Just make sure you focus, you stay optimistic, keep that vision in line, and last but not least, work your ass off. Wish you the best. Hope this was valuable. Thanks, guys.